So to end this debate of whether like it deals the same damage as Piston Slot or not, so many of you requested like Trixion DPS test between both builds. I'm gonna leave you with 2 minutes DPS test for both builds, and let's talk after like you watch both tests. So as you just saw, they are really super close in damage. And the budget one got the keen blunt penalty on Surge 2 or 3 times, which is really unlucky, but it still held its ground. So imagine if he didn't get the penalty. You would be out damaging the business slot. However, I don't believe in Trixion tests. Simply, and the reason like I didn't put it is like to actually do a proper testing, you need to calculate how many surges crit, how many soul absorbers crit, how many like other skills crit, like Earth Cleaver, for example, and that will take a really long time to do, like a really proper test. But if you just like do DPS test, you're not going to have a real race scenario. That's why this is now I'm gonna start proper testing. So for the people that just want a DPS test, we just got it out of the way. Now let's start actually proper testing. So about the bad RNG part. So you're going to tell me how can you calculate bad energy RNG? Basically, we will try our best to mimic bad RNG by like reducing the amount of crit rate. So as you see, I should have 900, but I removed like 400 spec, which is equal to 15% crit rate. So we will try without, and also I would remove the card set as well. So that way we have reduced the crit rate. I would say that's pretty fair to calculate bad RNG. And now let's try the budget build. As you see, I have Keen Blunt, Grudge, Ambush, and Cursed Doll. So I'm going to do one rotation. So as you saw, both Soul Absorber and Blitz Rush crit, but Surge didn't crit. I would consider this bad RNG. let's see now like the business slot with bad RNG. So now let's see. It's 60 million for like bad RNG with the budget. Now we'll see business slot. So you just saw that, right? We basically like did another rotation, and this one had the same RNG as the other one because our major skills are Soul Absorber and Blitz Rush. So we made sure both crit, but Surge doesn't crit. So this is like a bad scenario. It's like the bad RNG part. And the budget one dealt 60 million. This one is 61. So by playing Biston slots, you're gaining 1 million. Not to mention that they were not equal. The business slot test, the one rotation had 6% crit chance more than the budget one. The budget like test, if you go back to it, it's only 50%. This one, 56%. They both critted their major like skills, but didn't crit Surge. And like they are both this close, like they are identical. That's why when I say like when you don't play the class, it would look bad. This is what I mean. Like look at this. Even with bad RNG, they are still the same. Because people just like don't know that this skill always crit. One slash of Soul Absorber always crit unless you're unlucky and both don't crit. And here I played with like 50% crit chance, which is not even realistic because we have way more than that, and they are still identical in damage. So don't come at me saying, "Oh, it doesn't deal the same damage as Vision Slap." It does, and I know people would still not be satisfied. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to reduce the crit further. So how about if we reduce the crit chance even more? So I'm going to do another test with an even worse crit rate, and I would remove like Dominion second set effect, which is the 20% crit rate, and let me put, excuse me, I mean entropy, and let me put Dominion. So now we only have the crit damage, we don't have the crit rate anymore, and I'm not gonna like use Awakening, therefore Dominion would not be activated. So let's try now like one rotation with this type of RNG. Like this is even worse RNG. And let's start by like the business slot. So you saw that. We will need now to try with the budget build, and let's try to get a rotation where Soul Absorber does not crit, and the only skill that crit is Blitz Rush, and Surge does not crit as well. So this gives us 40.9 damage on like the business slot. So this is business slot as you see. And now let's try like the budget. So you saw that, right? It's 2 million or more for business slot at 22% crit chance. The RNG can't get any worse than this. You can't tell me there is worse RNG than 22%. Literally, Soul Absorber did not crit. Like most of the skills did not crit. Only Blitz Rush, but that's understandable because of the crit rate tripod. So this one is always gonna crit. And Surge did not crit. And the gap is not that huge. It's like almost the same. It's like only 2 million at the worst possible RNG. So even the argument that it does less damage in like bad RNG, only slightly less. It's not a lot. Does indeed deals the same damage as Business Blood. Stop coming at me with, oh, it doesn't deal the same. It's misleading title. It does. Go to Trixion, test for yourself. So the RNG part is just like silly, honestly. Like I just showed you in testing bad RNG and the build is still performing. So hope that shut down this whole argument.